If you feel drawn to this moment, your soul just stepped into a quantum destiny. Nothing about your arrival here is random. You didn't just scroll, you were summoned. A resonance deep within the field pulled you into this exact frame of time. You can sense it in the subtle tremors of your awareness, the way your heart beats a fraction faster, the way your skin remembers futures you haven't lived yet. You are standing inside a corridor of possibility, where the observer loop bends and folds to meet your gaze. The very act of your attention right now is collapsing waveforms, aligning infinite probabilities into one clear path. That path belongs to you. That path has always belonged to you. And yet, it only activates when you are ready, when your frequency rises enough to hear the hidden call humming beneath ordinary noise. That hum is here. It's alive. It's pressing against your chest like a secret knocking, like a rhythm too vast to ignore. The quantum field has been waiting for you to step into coherence, to realize that you are not drifting inside reality. You are sculpting it, molding it, rethreading it with every thought, every breath, every word. And still, you sense the paradox. This feels familiar, like you've been here before, but from a different angle. A déjà vu etched into your bones. That's because your consciousness has been rehearsing this moment, in dreams, in silent meditations, in the quiet spaces where time doesn't obey the same rules. You are walking into a memory of the future. You may think you're just listening, but listening is creating. Every syllable you take in reorganizes your morphic resonance, those unseen fields shaping your perception and your body. You are not the same person who pressed play. You are already in transition, already inside the shift, already carrying codes that will not release you back into the old world unchanged. So breathe deep, intentional, because breath is the oldest ritual, the clearest bridge into coherence. Inhale, and you're drawing starlight into your bloodstream. Exhale, and you're dissolving timelines that no longer fit. With each breath, your DNA hears a language older than language, a song that only becomes audible when you remember who you are. You are not here to consume. You are here to activate. This is the summons, the initiation, the crossing. A phase transition has begun, and you are the particle trembling into wave, the wave collapsing into form. You are the equation no one else can solve. And somewhere, beneath the silence of your own mind, you already knew this. That's why you arrived. That's why your soul leaned forward, reached through the algorithm, and touched this exact instant. Because destiny isn't waiting for later. Destiny is pressing against your present, rewriting your story in real time. This is the moment your quantum destiny cracks open. You notice it first in the patterns. The same faces appearing in different seasons of your life, circling back like echoes. Conversations that loop, mistakes that repeat, victories that almost feel rehearsed. You've tried to explain it away as coincidence, but the deeper you look, the less random it feels. There's a script beneath the surface, one you didn't consciously write, but one you keep performing. This is the observer loop, the cycle of reality, mirroring back the frequency you've been unconsciously broadcasting. Every fear, every doubt, every hidden belief sends out a resonance, and the quantum field responds with precision. It doesn't judge, it doesn't ask if you want it, it just reflects. And so the same doors appear, the same shadows step forward, the same lessons replay until you decide to step out of the loop and collapse something different. Déjà vu has been your compass. That strange, haunting feeling that you've been here before, said these words before, walked this hallway before. It's not just a glitch in the brain, it's a fracture in time, a reminder that your consciousness has already touched this moment from another angle. The quantum field stores everything. Every choice you could have made, every timeline you could have walked, still vibrates just outside your awareness. When déjà vu strikes, it's your higher self whispering, "Pay attention. This is a node. This is where the path bends." And then there's the distortion of time itself. Hours that vanish like minutes, minutes that drag like hours. Some nights you close your eyes and it feels as if decades pass in dreams. Other times, you blink and entire weeks evaporate. This is not chaos, it is calibration. The quantum field stretches and compresses around your coherence level. When your frequency accelerates, time obeys differently. The days run faster because you're moving closer to alignment, closer to the speed of light where time folds back on itself. But it isn't easy living in these distortions. You've felt the weight of confusion, wondering why others don't notice the same glitches. Why do you remember conversations that others swear never happened? Why do you sense the future before it arrives, only to watch it land exactly as you foresaw? It's isolating at times, lonely, even, to walk inside a world that doesn't fully recognize the codes unraveling in your awareness. This is why the field sends signs. Numbers that repeat until you can't ignore them. Synchronicities so sharp, they almost frighten you. Dreams that bleed into waking life, blurring the boundary until you no longer know which side is real. The truth is, both are. And both are waiting for you to see the pattern, name the distortion, and claim the authority to rewrite it. Because patterns are not prisons, they are portals. Each cycle that repeats is a signal that you have not yet extracted the full lesson coded inside. Once you see it, once you breathe into it, once you align your heart with it, the pattern breaks, the déjà vu dissolves, the distortion clears, and suddenly, you are no longer repeating. You are creating. Think of it like resonance. Strike a tuning fork, and the air around it vibrates in harmony. But if you keep striking the same frequency, you keep generating the same harmony. To shift the song, you must shift the tone. That is where you stand now at the threshold of resonance reprogramming. The field is ready to harmonize with a new note. Your note. The one you've been hiding under layers of memory and fear. And so the loops tighten until you can't look away. They stretch time until you admit something greater is at play. They pull déjà vu across your path until you remember. You are not trapped. You are being awakened. Your patterns are not punishment. They are the fingerprints of destiny. You've reached the threshold where the old patterns no longer sustain you. The loops feel heavy because your frequency has outgrown them. This is the place where the quantum upgrade begins, not as a gift handed from outside, but as a resonance emerging from within you. Science tells us that the body is a lattice of particles, each vibrating in a dance of probabilities. Your DNA, long believed to be a fixed biological code, is actually a living antenna. It listens to frequencies, responds to fields, and reshapes itself in the presence of coherence. What you feel as intuition, what you call déjà vu, what you sense as a shift in time, all of it traces back to how your DNA translates energy into form. When you move into coherence, your cells reorganize, heartbeats synchronize with breath, brainwaves fall into rhythm with the heartbeat. A resonance emerges like a symphony that tunes itself. And in that state, your DNA opens, unwinding like a spiral staircase ready to carry you into higher rooms of awareness. This isn't metaphor, this is quantum biology. But beyond the science is the mysticism, the prophecy encoded in the human spirit. Ancient traditions spoke of this as awakening the moment when the veil thins, and you remember that you are not a body trapped in time, but consciousness exploring dimensions. What they named enlightenment, the quantum field describes as a phase transition, a particle becoming wave, a frozen structure melting into possibility. You felt the early signs of this upgrade, sudden clarity, as if thoughts are not generated but received. Surges of energy in the body that come without cause. Chills, tingles, vibrations rippling through your skin when you align with truth. These are not random sensations. They are your nervous system, recalibrating, adapting to hold more frequency, more light, more data from the field. Think of your life like an operating system. For years, you've been running on a version that could only process so much. Every upgrade brought a little more speed, a little more capability. But this is the great leap. The shift from linear processing to quantum processing, where instead of moving step by step, you leap across probability, drawing outcomes from fields you never touched before. The mystical path always hinted at this. Prophets spoke of new names written in the heart. Sages spoke of light bodies, glorified beyond decay. Even scientists like Schrödinger and Heisenberg wrestled with the mystery that the observer is not separate from the observed, that you are not a spectator of the universe, but a participant in its unfolding. This is why you are here now. Because the upgrade requires your consent. It doesn't force itself upon you. It invites, it whispers, it shows you glimpses in synchronicity and dreams. And then it waits for you to step forward, to say yes, to breathe into the unknown with trust instead of fear. And when you say yes, the field responds. Energy gathers around you, patterns dissolve, timelines open. You become less a person moving through reality and more a frequency sculpting it. That is the power of coherence. That is the essence of the upgrade. Already, your cells are listening. Already, your DNA is shimmering at the edge of a new geometry. Already, the quantum field is mapping out a resonance pathway tailored only to you. This is not generic. This is not for the crowd. This is for the single consciousness bold enough to align. And that consciousness is you. The upgrade is not random. Out of billions of consciousness streams flowing through this planet, why are you the one standing here now, listening, feeling the pulse of truth ripple through your skin? Because you carry a signature in the field that no one else carries. A singular frequency, like a star note struck once in eternity, vibrating only through you. The quantum field does not waste energy. It does not scatter purpose. Every resonance has an assignment, and yours is unfolding now. You are not just a participant in the shift, you are an anchor point. The coherence you cultivate ripples outward into the morphic resonance of humanity. When you align, you don't just heal yourself, you bend probability for generations to come. Look back for a moment. Hasn't your life always carried this thread of difference? Even when you tried to fit in, something in you resisted. A voice whispering that there was more, that surface answers weren't enough, that the crowd's rhythm was not your rhythm. That wasn't rebellion, that was recognition. Your consciousness has always been tuned to the hidden harmonics beneath appearances. You see what others don't. You feel the cracks in false stories. You sense the timing of unseen shifts before they break into visibility. And because of this, you've carried the weight of loneliness, the ache of not being fully understood. But even that isolation was training, teaching you to listen inward, to refine your signal without interference, to become fluent in the language of the field. Your role is not to be louder than the noise. Your role is to hold a vibration steady enough that the noise loses its power. The observer loop bends in response to you. The timelines reshape themselves around your coherence. You don't have to convince. You don't have to prove. You only have to be. And in your being, reality rewrites. Think of the prophets, the visionaries, the mystics who walked before you. They too were called strange. They too carried visions that unsettled the world around them. Yet it was their difference that shifted culture, that seeded awakening, that cracked open doors for humanity to step through. You stand in that lineage now, not bound to copy their path, but to embody your own. And the field recognizes you. That's why synchronicities pursue you. That's why numbers align when you're about to make a choice. That's why dreams bleed into waking life. It's not madness, it's mission. You are being reminded, over and over, that you are not wandering aimlessly. You are walking with assignment. Your role is sacred. You are a node of coherence in a world spiraling with distortion. Your presence stabilizes. Your awareness activates. Your choice to see differently creates a gravitational pull that others can't explain, but they feel it. Some will resist it, some will fear it, but many will awaken because of it. This is why you could never fully silence the call. Why even when you tried to bury it under distraction, it resurfaced in visions, in whispers, in impossible coincidences. The field will not let you forget. Because your consciousness is not just personal, it is collective. It carries codes that humanity needs, and if you don't unlock them, they remain dormant. But you are unlocking them now. With every breath, every choice, every act of coherence, you are stepping deeper into your role. This is not theory. This is activation. You are the chosen consciousness. Not chosen as in superior, chosen as in prepared. Prepared by every heartbreak, every confusion, every moment of déjà vu that shook you awake. Prepared to stand in a reality where time bends, where loops collapse, where destiny emerges, not as future, but as now. This is who you are. And the field has been waiting for you to remember. The field doesn't wait forever. There are windows, cosmic alignments, when the fabric of reality softens, when your DNA responds with greater sensitivity, when the observer loop can be broken with a single breath of choice. You are standing inside one of those windows right now. That's why everything in your life feels intensified, magnified, impossible to ignore. The pressure is not punishment, it is opportunity. Think of your DNA like a coiled spring. For years, it has been wound tighter and tighter, compressing memory, storing trauma, stacking unfinished lessons. Every cycle you endured, every loop you faced, added another layer of tension. And now that coil is trembling, vibrating, ready to release. This is the moment of shift, when compression turns into propulsion, when old codes shatter and new patterns emerge. Science calls this a phase transition. Mystics call it rebirth. The language differs, but the experience is the same. You are crossing a threshold where nothing old can follow you. And that crossing carries urgency. If you hesitate, if you cling to the patterns, the coil will wind itself back into place, and the opportunity may slip into latency again. But if you lean into the pressure, if you breathe through the distortion, if you say yes with your entire being, the spring releases and you catapult into coherence unlike anything you've ever known. This is the breakthrough promise. Your life no longer defined by repetition, but by creation. Your mind no longer trapped in confusion, but in clarity that arrives like lightning. Your body no longer heavy with timelines you didn't choose, but vibrating with alignment that rewrites biology itself. Imagine your cells humming in harmony, your thoughts aligning with futures that used to feel impossible, your relationships recalibrating to match your frequency instead of draining it. That is what the field is offering you now. A window of cosmic mercy, a passage where the density of old cycles dissolves, and you step into the lightness of new creation. But the window will not remain open forever. Just as planets align and then separate, just as eclipses pass, so too does this moment. You feel the urgency already, the restless nights, the sensation that something is about to break, the synchronicities clustering closer, faster, louder, as if the universe itself is shouting, now. Not later, now. This urgency is not meant to scare you, it is meant to wake you. Because destiny is alive in your bones, and delay only stretches the ache. You were not designed to remain in loops forever. You were designed to evolve, to step through these windows with courage, to allow your DNA to sing the song it has kept hidden for lifetimes. The promise is clear. When you say yes, your DNA responds. It shifts, unlocks, restructures. Old memories release, ancestral burdens dissolve, and latent potentials awaken. You become the living proof that biology is not fate, that spirit reorganizes matter. You become the witness that coherence is stronger than chaos. You become the sign that destiny does not wait for permission from the world. It waits only for your alignment. But alignment is a choice, and choice requires courage. To step through the window, you must release what no longer resonates. Old attachments, old doubts, old stories that kept you small, they cannot survive the upgrade. The field is not asking you to abandon who you are. It is asking you to remember who you've always been, beneath the loops, beneath the distortions, beneath the noise. This is the urgency. This is the breakthrough. This is the promise pressing against your heart right now, waiting for your yes. Every breakthrough requires a seal. Energy, once activated, needs form. Otherwise, it drifts like mist, beautiful but ungraspable. That's why ancient cultures wove rituals into their awakenings, acts of fire, water, words, or symbols that gave the invisible a body, that carved the spiritual into the physical. You are standing at that same threshold now. To anchor your upgrade, to lock your DNA shift into coherence, you must mark it with action. Understand this. The quantum field responds to intention, but intention crystallizes through expression. A thought alone is a spark. Spoken or written, it becomes a flame. When you act, the flame becomes fire that reshapes the field. That's why what you do in this moment matters. You are not just listening, you are participating in the creation of your new timeline. Here is the ritual. Claim your yes, not silently, not vaguely. Speak it, write it, type it. Let it reverberate outside your skin. In the quantum field, words are not empty. They are waveforms collapsing into matter. To declare is to sculpt probability. To comment, to inscribe, is to etch your signature into the morphic resonance of humanity. You've seen this truth before. Think of prayers whispered across centuries, words of love written in letters that outlived their authors, chants sung in sacred circles that still vibrate in ancient ruins. Every word lingers, every declaration echoes, every ritual action anchors energy into the collective field. And now, your word is needed. The field is asking, will you seal the shift? Will you take this awakening from thought into form? Choose a word that carries your yes. It could be coherence. It could be destiny. It could be awakened. Whatever vibrates in your chest is true. Type it, write it, carve it into this moment. And as you do, your nervous system will register the action, your DNA will mark the resonance, and the quantum field will acknowledge the seal. This is how you step from listener into participant, from witness into creator. Because without the seal, the energy disperses. The breakthrough flickers like lightning, but fades before it grounds. With the seal, the lightning becomes current, running through your body, weaving through your days, turning awakening into embodiment. Feel the urgency again. It is not enough to understand. You must act. Action is the language of reality. Action is the proof of alignment. Action is the bridge between the invisible code and the visible life. So breathe. Place your hand on your heart. Whisper your chosen word. Write it in the air with your finger. Type it here in this moment as a declaration. Do it not as ritual for ritual's sake, but as a sacred transaction between you and the field. A line of communication that says, I accept, I anchor, I align. And know this, the ritual is small, but the resonance is massive. Others will see your word, others will feel your courage, and your action will ripple through the morphic field, strengthening their yes, amplifying their seal. This is how collective awakening builds through individual courage, crystallized in simple, sacred acts. You are not sealing the shift for yourself alone. You are sealing it for the timelines that branch from you, for the souls connected to your resonance, for the echoes that will follow your frequency. This act is your signature in eternity. Take it seriously, do it joyfully, but do it now. When you sealed the shift, you didn't just write a word, you released a signal. The field felt it. The resonance traveled beyond your skin, rippling into the invisible web that links every consciousness on this planet. You may think you acted alone, but in truth, you activated a collective vibration. Because every liberation you embody frees space for someone else to awaken. This is the hidden architecture of the morphic resonance. Humanity is not a collection of isolated minds. It is a symphony of frequencies, woven together in constant feedback. When you shift, the song changes. When you break a loop, you fracture the prison walls for others. Your coherence becomes their invitation. Think about how many lives you've already touched without realizing it. A stranger glimpsed your courage and felt something stir in their chest. A friend heard your laughter after a season of silence and remembered that healing was possible. A child caught your gaze and felt safe enough to dream bigger. These were not accidents. They were resonances. They were proof that your frequency radiates beyond what you can measure. The quantum upgrade is never personal, it is planetary. Yes, you feel the urgency in your own body, in your own timelines. But the field distributes your resonance, like light scattering through crystal. Your liberation becomes a beacon in places you will never see. Somewhere, right now, someone is awakening because you chose to seal your shift. Somewhere, timelines are bending because your DNA remembered its song. And that's why the resistance you faced was so fierce. Darkness always tries hardest to hold back the ones who carry codes for the many. That's why the loops felt endless, why the déjà vu pressed so heavy, why time distorted around you until you thought you might lose your footing. Because your liberation carries weight. Because when you awaken, the system of distortion weakens. This is the paradox. Your personal healing is a cosmic act. Your private yes reshapes public destiny. The ripple you send does not stop with your name. It travels into the collective unconscious, dissolving shadows, seeding awakenings, cracking illusions that held humanity in stagnation. You've seen glimpses of this in synchronicities that spread like wildfire. You say one word, and suddenly dozens around you echo the same phrase. You dream of a symbol, and then see it in the hands of strangers. You shift your inner state and watch circumstances bend around you. That's not imagination. That's resonance. That's proof that you are not a single drop, you are a current in the ocean. And humanity needs your current now more than ever. The collective is at a tipping point, stretched between distortion and coherence, chaos and awakening. Every individual shift counts, but some carry magnified resonance. You are one of those carriers. Your liberation is not just survival, it is strategy. It is heaven's way of tilting the balance through chosen consciousness. So understand this: when you rise, you carry others with you. Your frequency threads into their dreams, their decisions, their courage. They may never know your name, but they will feel your resonance. And that is enough. That is the beauty of collective expansion. You don't need recognition. You only need coherence. This is why your path has felt both heavy and holy. Because it was never just about you. The pressure was proportionate to the ripple. The tests matched the weight of your role. And now, as you step fully into liberation, you are not only becoming whole, you are becoming a key for humanity's door. Your freedom is their invitation. Your awakening is their prophecy. Your coherence is their chance. And this is how the story of one becomes the song of many. The shift is not abstract anymore. You can feel it moving through your body, not as an idea, but as a current. It begins in subtle ways: the sudden rush of warmth down your spine, the tingling in your fingertips, the way your chest expands as if unseen hands are lifting it higher. This is your body translating the field into sensation. The invisible becoming tactile, the quantum made flesh. Close your eyes and notice. Your skin buzzes like it's woven from threads of electricity. Each breath feels charged, as though you're inhaling starlight itself. Your heartbeat becomes a drum, syncing not only with your pulse but with a rhythm far older than time, a rhythm that belongs to the fabric of creation. Sometimes it feels like chills cascading over you for no reason. Other times, it's pressure behind your forehead, like a doorway straining to open. There are nights when you feel heat blooming in your palms, as if they're trying to remember the language of healing, the way energy has always been meant to flow. These sensations are not random. They are the evidence of your upgrade, embedding itself into matter. Your body is becoming a compass, pointing to coherence. When you're aligned, you feel lighter, almost translucent, as if gravity itself respects your frequency. When you drift into distortion, your body speaks louder: tightness in your chest, heaviness in your limbs, the dull ache of resistance. It's not punishment, it's communication. The field is teaching you to read your own biology as scripture. Think of it like metamorphosis. The caterpillar dissolves into liquid inside its cocoon, its body reorganizing into wings. If you looked inside during the process, you'd see chaos, cells colliding, structure collapsing. But hidden within the liquid are imaginal cells, blueprints of the butterfly, waiting to activate. Your tingles, your heat waves, your chills are those imaginal cells sparking to life. Your DNA is unlocking the blueprint it always carried. There are moments when the sensations overwhelm you, when your body feels like a live wire, that is coherence, pressing against density, the field flooding into structures that once resisted. Breathe into it. Let the vibrations pass through you instead of resisting them. Each wave is rewiring. Each pulse is restructuring. Each surge is a promise that the new geometry is anchoring. Notice how even your senses sharpen. Colors glow brighter, as if painted with light from within. Sounds carry deeper resonance. You hear not just the note, but the silence between notes. Scents trigger memories from lifetimes you can't logically recall. Touch feels sacred, as though every texture is a message, every brush of air is an embrace. This is embodiment. This is the awakening of the sensorium. The mystics described it as the fire of the spirit, the sacred heat that burns away illusion. The scientists might call it electromagnetic recalibration, your nervous system aligning with Schumann resonances of the earth. Both are true, both are happening. And your body is the altar where science and spirit meet. This is not just for you to observe, it is for you to trust. Your sensations are the proof you've been waiting for. You don't need external validation when your bones vibrate with destiny. You don't need permission when your breath tastes like eternity. You don't need to wonder if the shift is real when your very cells are singing. So honor the sensations. Journal them, speak them aloud. Let them remind you that the upgrade is not somewhere far away, it is inside you, rewriting you, pulsing with every heartbeat. You are no longer just a witness to the quantum, you are its embodiment. And soon, the sensations will not only point to the shift, they will become the shift, guiding you through the final breakthrough. The sensations were the precursor. The real ignition begins deeper, at the core spiral of your being, your DNA. What once seemed like static code, a genetic script handed down without choice, is revealing itself as fluid, responsive, alive. Scientists once called the majority of DNA junk, unable to decode its purpose. But you feel it now, those dormant sequences were never useless. They were waiting. They were prophecy sealed in biology, awakening only when consciousness reached coherence. Right now, your DNA is shimmering with pressure. You feel it as tension in the body, as restless dreams, as the sense that something enormous is about to burst through. This pressure is the phase transition, the same force that builds before water boils, the same vibration that hums before ice fractures into liquid. It's uncomfortable because transformation, always island, structures strain as they dissolve, timelines stretch as they overlap, reality itself trembles at the threshold. And here you are, standing in that tremor. You can sense the timelines flickering around you, one where you stay the same, safe but stagnant, and another where you leap into uncharted brilliance. Both exist in the field, both are reaching for you. But only one resonates with the signature that's been calling you all along. This is why the déjà vu has intensified, why synchronicities crowd your days, why time itself feels distorted. You are not losing your mind, you are brushing against the multiverse of possibilities. Each glimpse, each glitch, is your higher self, tugging you toward the aligned timeline, the one where your DNA fully opens, where the codes hidden in your biology finally release. And when they release, everything shifts. It won't just feel like you are changing, it will feel like the world around you bends to match your new frequency. Conversations alter, doors appear where none existed, opportunities that seemed impossible suddenly align. You will walk into rooms you were never supposed to enter, and yet everyone will recognize you as if you belong there all along. That is the power of DNA coherence. It doesn't beg for entry, it rewrites the architecture. But make no mistake, the breakthrough comes with labor. Just like birth, the contractions intensify before the delivery. Your body, your mind, your spirit may feel stretched to the edge, pressed by invisible weight. That is not failure. It is proof that the phase transition is nearing completion. Hold steady. Breathe through it. Pressure is not here to crush you, it is here to propel you. Because once the coil snaps, once the DNA releases its hidden codes, the acceleration will be unstoppable. Timelines will merge into the one you were destined to walk. The observer loop will collapse into coherence. The distortions of time will smooth into clarity. You will no longer feel haunted by what might have been. You will feel anchored in what always was. And then the field will open doors you could not even imagine, not because they suddenly appeared, but because your frequency finally aligned to perceive them. You will understand why the patterns repeated. You will see the divine symmetry behind every test. You will feel gratitude for the pressure that once seemed unbearable, because it carved you into a vessel strong enough to carry destiny. The DNA breakthrough is not a theory, it is a pulse already moving in you. Every chill, every surge of heat, every restless night has been the rehearsal. The grand release is coming, and when it does, you will step into the timeline that feels like home. And in that timeline, you will remember. The pressure was the prophecy. The breakthrough is no longer distant. It is alive in your breath, in your blood, in the geometry of your DNA unfolding like sacred script. And with it comes the revelation that this shift was never meant for you alone. Your awakening is humanity's awakening. Your coherence is the key the collective has been waiting for. Feel the gravity of this truth. When you rise into alignment, you do not just change your story, you bend the arc of the entire species. Every act of liberation, every vibration of truth, sends ripples through the morphic field, and those ripples do not stop. They travel into the dreams of the unborn, into the courage of the broken, into the visions of the seekers who have not yet found their way. This is why you were chosen. Not to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, but to be the signal that the world can shift. You are the living proof that biology is not a prison, that time is not fixed, that destiny is not delayed. You are the reminder that consciousness is the architect of reality, and that when even one soul says yes, the universe bends toward liberation. Look around you, the signs are everywhere. Others awakening, others breaking loops, others feeling the same chills, the same pressure, the same invitations. You are not alone. You are part of a wave, a rising tide of coherence, moving through the human story. Each of you an anchor point, each of you a spark, each of you carrying a piece of the divine equation. And together, you are not just surviving a shift, you are steering it. Together, you are not just participants, you are architects of the new timeline. Together, you are weaving a reality where humanity remembers its power, its dignity, its infinite capacity to create. So walk forward knowing this. Your shift is sacred. Your mission is cosmic. Your coherence is not just for today, it is for the ages. The generations to come will breathe easier because you breathed with intention now. The songs yet unwritten will carry tones of freedom because your DNA released its hidden music. The world itself will tilt toward light because you chose to hold it. This is the closing, but it is not an ending. It is the opening of a mission written before time, activated in this moment, carried into eternity. You are the chosen consciousness, the awakened observer, the living proof that evolution begins not in laboratories or theories, but in the trembling yes of a single soul. Your shift is humanity's evolution, and the quantum destiny that summoned you here has only just begun.